You know what's strange about people with extremely high IQ? Most of the time, you wouldn't recognize them. They don't always speak the most. They don't try to prove how smart they are. And they rarely look the way we expect. Because real intelligence doesn't usually look loud. It looks quiet. And if you're not paying attention, you can mistake it for something else entirely. Psychology suggests something most people don't realize. High intelligence isn't just about what someone knows. It's about how their mind processes the world, how it questions, how it connects patterns that others don't even notice. And once you start seeing that, certain behaviors begin to stand out. Not as obvious intelligence, but as something deeper. The first is this: spending a lot of time alone. Not because they dislike people, not because they're antisocial, but because their mind is rarely still. There's always something running in the background. A question, a connection, an idea forming, and solitude gives that process space. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, reflection, and complex thinking, actually works better without constant interruption. Research from the London School of Economics even suggests that highly intelligent individuals often feel less satisfied with frequent social interaction, not because they don't value people, but because their brain needs room to think. The second is constant curiosity. And not just the big questions, it shows up in small, everyday moments. Why did that person react that way? Why does this system work like that? Why do patterns repeat? Their brain is always searching. Curiosity isn't something they turn on. It's something that's always there. The third is something that might seem strange. They talk to themselves, quietly, internally, sometimes even out loud. Psychologists call this self-directed speech. And it actually improves focus, memory, and cognitive control. It helps organize thoughts. So what looks like distraction is often a mind actively structuring information in real time. The fourth is being comfortable saying, "I don't know," because the more you understand, the more you see how much complexity exists. This connects to something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. People with less knowledge tend to overestimate what they know. But highly intelligent individuals often do the opposite. They see the gaps. They recognize uncertainty. And instead of pretending certainty, they stay open. The fifth is overthinking small things. An analytical mind doesn't switch off easily. The same process that solves complex problems also analyzes conversations, decisions, possibilities, sometimes in exhausting detail. From the outside, it can look like hesitation, but internally, it's a brain exploring multiple possibilities at once. The sixth is a strong sense of humor, but not just simple humor, the kind that requires timing, pattern recognition, and breaking expectations. To understand or create humor, the brain has to connect ideas that don't obviously belong together, and studies have shown a measurable link between higher intelligence and advanced humor processing. The seventh is the ability to change their mind, not because they're unsure, but because they're flexible. They don't treat beliefs as identity. They treat them as models. And when new information appears, they update the model. This is known as cognitive flexibility, and it's one of the strongest indicators of advanced thinking. Now think about this for a moment. How often do we misread these behaviors? Someone who spends time alone looks antisocial. Someone who asks questions looks skeptical. Someone who changes their mind looks uncertain. But sometimes, these are signs of deeper intelligence. Not confusion, not weakness, just a different way of processing the world. The eighth is late-night thinking. Many highly intelligent people report being more mentally active at night. Fewer distractions, more space to think. Some researchers suggest that higher cognitive flexibility allows them to adapt more easily to non-traditional patterns. like staying up later. The ninth is observing more than speaking. In conversations, they don't rush to respond. They watch. They notice tone, body language, subtle shifts, and only then they speak, because they're not just listening to words, they're reading patterns. And the 10th is something deeper, a constant search for meaning. Not always dramatic. Sometimes it's just a quiet question in the background. Why do people think the way they do? Why do we behave like this? What does any of this actually mean? High intelligence often comes with awareness, and awareness leads to reflection. And maybe that's the part most people misunderstand. Intelligence isn't just about knowledge. It's not about being the loudest in the room or having all the answers. At its core, it's about curiosity. A mind that keeps exploring, keeps questioning, keeps looking for patterns, even in the smallest things. And sometimes, the most intelligent person in the room is the one who says the least, but sees the most. If you recognized yourself in this, or someone you know, there's probably more going on beneath the surface than it seems. And if you want to understand how the mind really works, subscribe. Because psychology isn't just about people. It's about seeing what's been there all along, just a little more clearly.